Hello there. We are underway in celebrating our first year anniversary. And if you don't already know about it, I'm hosting a raffle and giving away more than $2,000 worth in cash and prizes. So if you or a friend have access to an Apple product, you can enter to win. For the complete details, go to sayyesToYourSoulPodcast.com. All right, here we go with another soulful episode.
I started having dream visitations from past loved ones and an ascended master when I was a teenager. I remember even before that having these thoughts of, I would have dreams of waking up and saying, gosh, that really felt like that happened. I wonder if that was a past life. And I wasn't brought up in a household where the religion that I was grown up in talked about reincarnation.
Hello, I'm Tessa Lynn Alburn. Welcome to the Say Yes to Your Soul podcast, where we empower women to connect with their souls and shine in their business. If you are ready to embrace your brilliance, create meaningful connections, and be compensated for your specific gifts, you're in the right place. Join us as we explore inspiring stories, practical insights, unique points of view, and soulful strategies, all to help you thrive. So let's dive on into this transformative journey together. Tune in and say yes to your soul. Oh, I'm so excited to introduce our guest today. She has all kinds of cool skills and has done a lot in the world of media. Her name is Laura West, and she is a registered nurse, an energy healer, a psychic medium, have fun, author, podcast host, and TV host dedicated to both the sciences and spirituality. And I love that combo. Laura has taken part in multiple international spiritual summits. She's taught about intuition on several virtual platforms to students from all over the world. She's contributed to both national and international journals and magazines and been invited as a guest on several podcasts, both nationally and internationally. And she was also the TV host of Life from the Other Side on the Everyday Woman TV network. Currently, she's hosting her own podcast called A Guided Life. She also has authored her book titled Guided, and she's dedicated to spreading the word of love and teaching others how to communicate with their spirit guides through intuition. So, Laura, welcome to Say Yes to Your Soul.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. I think, you just chit-chatting with you a little bit, and we were introduced through somebody in one of my communities, and hearing your voice on your podcast, I was like, I have to invite her over to the show, right? There was just a resonance, a beauty in the vibration of your tone. And I know that one of the things you want to bring to the forefront here today is like a way of getting to connection, spiritual connection, in ways that are realistic and more simple than other people are, all these complicated this, that, and the other. So I'd love for you to just take it away. You've got, a tremendous background. Just go for it, Laura.
Oh, well, thank you again so much for having me. And it's so kind of you to say all of those things. I'd like to share how it can be so simple to connect with the world of spirit, more specifically with spirit guides. And this can translate for anybody, whether it's angels or ascended masters, even past loved ones, etc. But the simplicity of how it can be. I know at times the long ritual is really nice, for us to get us in that space. But for myself, I have a full-time job outside of this extra spiritual work that I do. I'm a wife and a mother and run a household and all that great stuff. So, just finding that time in the day can be difficult, but I still want to have that time to connect with spirit. And I'm also not by nature a morning person. I definitely thrive better at night. So the idea of waking up extra early, even though that would allow me more time, just isn't in the cards for
Mm-hmm.
me. So I find that it's important for people to know that, yes, there is that path of really connecting with spirit through those beautiful long rituals that feel really good. But then there's also the path of keeping it simple and realistic with living this human experience, but still being able to connect with spirit. And that took me some time to learn, and I probably learned that more out of survival and necessity versus desire and the longing to really simplify my practice. But I will say that I'm like, I am a creature of comfort. So if something can be simple and easy and I don't have to commit to it every day and feel like it's a chore, then that works for me. So it sort of fell into my lap that way. So I like to share with others what has worked for me, because I think that a lot of people who are out there exploring can be really inundated with all the information that's out there, because there is a lot of information regarding spiritual practice, spirit guides, how to connect with them, intuition, all that good stuff. And so I just like to input my 2 cents into all of that to those that resonate with the idea of keeping things maybe a little bit simpler, or when it's time for them to simplify their practice as well. So this is actually the topic that I usually tend to talk about is just spirit guides and intuition. But with you, Tessa, I feel the need for your audience to talk about how to simplify that relationship and that connection and that growth that one can have with their guides. So I find that that's kind of interesting that this is where it's going. But
Well, I think, well, clearly you've been guided to do that, and it's
exactly.
right on target for sure. Yes, my people, my women are busy, they're doing a lot for others. And like they might be mothers, but whether they are or not, they are holding a lot of balls up in the air, and they want to have a deeper connection, but they've maxed out on their time in order, right?
So, yeah, there's not enough hours or energy in the day
exactly
to do it all. So yeah, you're so right. It's definitely been intuitively guided, hence the topic, to go in this direction. But just a little bit of background for myself on top of the very kind intro that you provided. I started having dream visitations from past loved ones and an ascended master when I was a teenager. I remember even before that having these thoughts of, I would have dreams of waking up and saying, gosh, that really felt like that happened. I wonder if that was a past life. And I wasn't brought up in a household where the religion that I was grown up in talked about reincarnation. So, having thoughts like that at a young age, I mean, I can still remember one of the dreams, which is really kind of interesting that I talk about this. So, having those thoughts, it makes me feel like I came in already awake, but not really knowing what that meant at the time. And then, I had a couple of profound dreams when I was a teenager, and I knew that they were dream visitations. Again, without having read any books on spirituality or knowing that we can have visitations like that. I'm not sure.
Okay, so how did you know? How did you really get that? There you are, you're just like a teenager, you're having dreams and things are happening. What were you thinking? What was your experience?
I know, I think because of the impact the dreams had on me, and maybe if I share what those are briefly, it can help people to see where I maybe was coming from at that time. Mm-hmm. So the first dream that I had that was really profound, I was a teenager, and I was at the time going to church, Korean church more specifically, but I was also brought up in a Jewish household, so both religions. And so for me, trying to really see which one resonated with me the best or the most. And so at the time when I was sort of having this internal struggle of being surrounded by other Christians who really looked like they got it. To me, it was like they knew without a shadow of a doubt that was the religion for them, that, everything that came with that religion was the truth. And I just couldn't, in my heart and soul, it just didn't resonate. But I
Mm.
was searching for that because I wanted that, just like they had it. And so it was interesting to me during that time when I had a dream visitation from Jesus. And he walked in on the arm of this grayed out, very muscular man. He was wearing like he was grayed out, but he was definitely wearing like a black and white grayed checker or a plaid shirt, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And he walked towards me through this tunnel, surrounded by this like iridescent rainbowy mist surrounding them. And I remember seeing him. He was in color and he looked like, the Jesus you would see in the Renaissance paintings. And I think that was so I would recognize that that was Jesus for me. And
Yes.
he walked up to me and he asked me if I would spread his word. And I remember thinking like, oh gosh, like he wants me to evangelize. Like, ugh, like that doesn't feel good to me. But I said to him, I'll try. So I said to him, I'll try. That was enough for him because nothing else was said. And then they walked back through the tunnel and walked away. And that dream has stuck with me to this day. And I mean, we're talking like 25 plus years ago, I think. Anyway, so, that to me, when I woke up and I was like, what was that? What do I do with this?
Yeah, I mean, you're a young girl. Jesus came to you in a dream. What are you supposed to do with that?
I can't tell him no, but gosh, this doesn't feel right for me to say yes. So, I mean, what do you do? You just kind of sit with
Yeah.
it. That's what I did. I sat with it till it felt right. So then I'm thinking in my mind, okay, I think this means that I am going to feel more Christian one day, like that. I was kind of waiting for that to happen. And then the second profound dream that I had in my teenage years was we went to go visit my grandmother who was sick with cancer and she was in hospice. She was dying in hospice. And we went to visit her. And then the night that we had visited her, she came into my dream. We were at my great grandmother's house, who at the time was still alive. We call her Nana. And she came into that house and she opened the front door, and behind her, it was just white light. And she was arm in arm with my grandfather, who was still alive at the time. And I said, Grandma, you were all better. And she was wearing white and she looked healthy and vibrant. And she said, yes, I am. And it was the next day that we had learned that she had passed during the night. And so
Mm.
for me, that felt like a dream visitation because I remember seeing her healthy. I shared it with my family and they were very receptive to it. I'm very lucky that my family is very open and receptive to these things. And it just stuck with me, and it helped to stick with me because my grandmother would then continue to visit me in my dreams as well and played really profound role in my spiritual journey while she was in spirit.
That's beautiful that you were able to have that connection with her once she
Yes.
was passed. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. It's been a blessing, and that she can still be with me after all these years of having
Mhm.
passed from cancer. So, it's funny because I had this dream about Jesus, and I'm waiting to feel more Christian. I'm waiting for Christianity to resonate with my soul. And then lo and behold, I find Sylvia Browne books in my late teenage years. And her books were she was a psychic medium, wrote tons of books and would go on talk shows and stuff, pretty famous in the world. And her books, that's when I first learned about spirit guides, and she talked about the other side, and she talked about a mother god and a father god and all these ideas that I'm like, this is it. Like, this is what I've been searching for. And so I was more confused because I'm like, well, this isn't Christianity per se. There are some things about it that maybe can relate, but it's not like what I was thinking. And that story, or loop that story back around, when I learned to channel right in the more recent years, I decided to revisit that dream and ask Jesus, okay, what am I spreading? You asked me to spread your word. What does that mean? And he said, just to spread the word of love. And I said, bingo, like that I can do, because that's what he represented, right? This was before
Yes.
Christianity as a religion. It's more, what did Jesus represent? And he represented love, loving others here on earth and doing the best you can, and then, crossing over and going back to the other side. So that's been my mission, to spread the word of love. And I do it alongside with
hang
him.
on just 1 second. So when you heard that from him at that time, then it all made sense, it sounds like, and you were like, oh, I can do this. And were you still like in contact with him?
Like since then?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Yes, I definitely do still work with him. He has been in my dream again, along with God, in a different capacity. That the dream that I had with him back in it, the focus was more on God. Was he in that dream? Now I'm second guessing myself. I know it's kind of wild because my guardian angel was in that dream. So was another one of my spirit guides, and then Mary and Joseph is just like, what is going on here? Anyway,
the whole family and all the ascended angels.
Yeah,
okay.
And God was. I mean, it was amazing. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, what is going on? But you know what? I don't think Jesus was in that dream. I don't know if he has visited me since, but to be honest, I can't actually remember the details of it because I haven't thought about it. But anyway, yes, I definitely do have communication with him still, and I know that he is certainly around me, and I can sense when he comes around because the room feels brighter. So, we still are in communication, but nothing as straightforward dialogue like that dream, and maybe because hopefully that means I'm on the right track.
Well, sure. You don't need redirecting or anything, right?
Yeah,
like that would make sense. Like if somebody's doing their job, you let them do it.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't micromanage.
So something shifted though for you with Sylvia Brown that somehow opened you up to, I don't know, there was something there. What was going on inside you in those times? Like, what do you think shifted to help you to say yes to what Jesus was asking of you?
You know what? The books that I read of Sylvia Brown, first of all, I knew that was my path because I just could not get enough. As soon as I read one book, I had to go to the bookstore to buy more because I just couldn't get enough of what she was sharing because it was like, yes, like this feels good. And because of her books, I learned that you can ask to have meet your spirit guide in your dreams. And that's one of the things that I share in the free gift that I provide, is how people can meet their own spirit guides. Because it worked for me was I asked my spirit guide to visit me in my dreams, and it worked. And that's how I met Jason, because he told me his name and all that good stuff. So the shift really was just I don't know, it's almost like my soul remembering that, oh my gosh, yes, we do have spirit guides. Yes, there are angels that work with us like this. Like, yes, this is what the other side can be like. And all of this amazing stuff that she was able to provide, it just really resonated deep within my soul. Because I have a hard time with like a fake it till you make it sort of mentality. I'm very much wear my emotions on my sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't pretend. I can be searching and questioning and immerse myself in something to see if it feels good. But if it doesn't feel good, I can't pretend that it does. It's just because I feel icky.
Well, thank goodness.
Yes, I know. But everything about spirituality just felt so good. And she opened up, me up to the ideas of of reincarnation and how we're all on this journey of trying to better ourselves. And a lot of that really just helped me to understand my fellow man and fellow woman, that, we are all here on our journeys trying to do the best that we can. And so combining that with the mission that Jesus gave to me, I could do it because I felt it deep in my soul that was right.
Beautiful. I love that. So you really had a deep knowing, and you knew it was your truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
So, as you continued on your soul journey and you were spreading the message of love, what did that look like?
Oh, so I love working with my guides, my spirit guides. And so for me, what I found was feeling good because, again, I was following intuition and what felt good and right to me at the time, and working with my guides and connecting with other people's guides and maybe other members of their soul team felt really good to me. So at this time, how it looks is me spreading the word of love from the mission I received from Jesus with the help of my spirit guides and by connecting to other people's spirit guides, by reminding them, other people, that they are not alone and that they have this team of support very much ready, willing, and able to guide them as long as they allow that and ask for it. Because I think that it's important for people to know that even though they may feel alone in the physical sense, maybe they don't have a significant other, or maybe they don't have the family that they were hoping for, whatever the case may be, that they still have this spirit family that's there loving them so much. And so I think that a lot of the love has to start from within, the self-love. And I find that by connecting with people through their guides and doing readings like that, and reminding them of the messages that they are receiving and giving them validation too, so that they can believe what is coming through, that it just starts to spark that little flame of love within them and reminding them, okay, yes, I am really not alone. Physically, maybe, but in a spiritual sense, I'm definitely not alone, and I can feel the love within me. And to spread the love from there is not difficult. It's just showing kindness to others. That's all that it really takes to spread the word of love.
Yes. Oh, I love that. So kindness is the expression of love. So it's a very simple thing to do. We can do that with everyone in our that comes onto our path. Yeah. Exactly. All right. So as you were sharing here, I started to think, oh yeah, like give some specifics. Like you have a lot of guides and then you're meeting with other people's guides. Like how many guides are there? Like how big is this party?
However many that there need to be, I guess. Yeah. So, so first of all, the caveat to all of this is that there's no black and white when it comes to spirit. Everything is very gray, which means that anything's possible. So, I speak in terms of what I have experienced. So we all have at least one main guide, like the guide that has been there with us since our soul sparked and came to life and we became us. And that guide has been with us. And then we have other guides that will come and go for different things, whether it's an emotional thing that we need them there for, a physical thing that we need them there for. For instance, say we've got some money issues, we can have a guide to help us with that. Or if we're going through something sad, we have a guide for that, and they can come and go. Some guides may play a bigger role in certain lives, different lives that we may have, depending on what we're working towards in that life. So it's very fluid as far as who comes and goes and why and when and where. But the main guide will be there the whole time, regardless. I guess sort of like directing traffic in a way. That's how it's coming to me. So
okay. I have to say something here then, because as you're talking about this, I'm starting to remember some of the pet healing and soul retrieval work that I used to do, and as I was doing that work, the more animals that I worked with, the more I realized, oh my gosh, like a number of them have like sacred jobs. And they have been guides in other lifetimes of theirs. And
Wow.
so, and the what, and the one that just popped into my mind, which is probably why you said it, was there were a couple of them, but I had met this cat that was literally guiding the departed to the heavens. It was
Oh,
like her sacred job, and it was a feminine essence to greet the departed spirit of the other animal and to help it like integrate and then direct it to where it was supposed to be going. Like,
I love it. Yes. Yeah.
that's what they do. Yeah, so they do direct and with their special zone of expertise. And so, if okay, how can people connect with their guides in a simple way without getting overwhelmed, without like thinking they have to have 500 guides? Like, what would you recommend, Laura?
Yeah, for those of us who like to know, okay, how many and what are their names? Because some of us are like, it hurts my brain to even think about the possibilities of how many guides there are. You can call them like one collective name. That's fine. They don't even need to have names. That's for us as humans. It doesn't matter. They're going to be there no matter what. But for those of us who are like, I love to know like their names and who's here and why. So a simple way that has worked for me, as I had mentioned before, was asking your guide or guides to visit you in your dreams. And you'll know that it's a visitation because you'll wake up and you'll think, okay, that definitely didn't feel just like a dream. And then I would write it down just so you don't forget it, especially as the day goes on. I find that that's a simple way because, I mean, everyone's got to sleep at some point. So all you've had to do is ask, and then, the rest of the work happens in your dream state, I should
Can
say.
you clarify for the listeners here how they would know? Like, what's one way you know this is a loving guide and not some, nefarious little prankster?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that's where intuition comes into play, and that's another reason why I love to share about intuition. I find that learning to hone in on one's intuition is so important because it's going to be really important for the person who has had that dream to see how it feels. And if it felt good, great, you're on the right track. But if it felt like, I don't know, that just didn't feel like how I was expecting it would, then go with that. But learning to hone in on your intuition is what's going to help you to really maybe differentiate if it's even a guide or if it's, you from a past life or a loved one from this current life or a past. I mean, it could be so many different things. And if you really want to get down to that gritty and know who is connecting with you and making sure that they're there for your highest and best good, then intuition plays a big role. Another good way too is just like what I said, asking that only loving entities that are there for your highest and best good visit you in your dreams. That's a really good way to sort of set that bar and set that standard because you really do have that power to protect your space and your energy like that. So know that it could be just as simple as sort of setting those boundaries from the
Just that
get-go.
little simple statement at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
Simplicity.
Exactly. Love it. What else do you employ in your life as a busy mom and an employee and a podcast host to keep your connection, not just for like when you're doing sessions, but for your own daily life?
Yeah. So, when I remember, I will just briefly, I guess it's a prayer because I'm talking and not receiving like in a meditation. But I would just ask that, I be guided and protected and communicated with today by my guides or whoever I'm looking to connect with at the time. I also, employ and enlist the help of my soul team if I'm having a hard time or if I am needing help with something. So just remembering to sort of say that prayer of just asking that they either, take the feelings of anxiety away or to soften the other person's heart that you're going to have to relay maybe unpleasant news to, like whatever the case may be.
Mm.
I just, just employing them that way, and keeping it simple, and just remembering to ask for their help and their guidance
To ask,
and
exactly.
ask. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think we want to avoid like getting into over control of others, of course, and our guides probably wouldn't do that anyway. But if like I love that statement, like that request, please help to soften the other person's heart. And so what I find with my guides, if I ask my guides something like that, then they're going to communicate to the other person's guides, and
Yep,
and then those guides will bring in that information in a way that the person can receive it, if that's in their highest good to do so.
exactly. And if they want to, because they still have free will.
Yes, they do have free will, and sometimes that little ego is not so small.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you're living like this beautiful, soulful life. How does this impact your family?
It's funny because, well, okay, let me put it this way. So my daughters are definitely sensitive. Is that the word? Sensitive to things,
Mm-hmm.
especially my younger daughter. And it was just so sweet because I have a really good example actually of her embracing the idea of spirit guides and things like that. So her guinea pig, for some reason, the doctor isn't sure why, but his hind legs became paralyzed. And, he's getting older, but so we brought him into the vet and he got some medicine and we'll see how he does. And my daughter was waking up in the morning and she heard like a tapping sound. And it kind of scared her, but she said, if this is my spirit guide, can you please help my guinea pig get better? And so one, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so proud of that she would even like think to ask for your spirit guide at that time or talk to your spirit guide. And the fact that she was courageous enough to go that route versus run out of there and say, I think there's a ghost or something scary in my room. I thought that that was just so awesome that she's already starting to have
Mm-hmm.
that relationship with her guide.
Mm-hmm.
And the amazing thing about all that, not just that was amazing too for me, but then the other amazing thing was later that afternoon, that same day, was it the afternoon or even that morning, later that morning, I went in there to check on him and I said, Haley, I'm like, he's starting to move his legs. And ever since then, he's been walking again. So when I told her that, like her eyes lit up because she was like, Mom, I have to tell you what happened this morning. And, she's young, she's 9. So, for her to embrace this at that age just was really cool to see how it made her eyes glow. And I could feel how excited she was that it had worked, and how it was validating for her and for me, for it to have worked like that. So, that was just really incredible. And he's still doing the guinea pig's still doing very well to this day. That was like a
Yay!
week
We're all
ago, but
happy because you're relieved that the guinea pig is doing well. That's
yeah,
wonderful. So the guinea pig may have even gotten sick just so your daughter could have that experience.
I do think about that. That's right. Yeah,
Very
exactly.
possible. But how delightful to be able to see the magic, the concept of magic and
Yeah.
healing and, spirit all at once, just like lighting her up. And you got to see
Yeah.
that.
Oh, it like warmed my mommy and psychic medium heart.
Yes, indeed. It's very exciting stuff. And how amazing, too, like to be able to share that with your daughters.
Oh yeah,
I think
definitely.
that is something that I think happens a lot in families where maybe the child is having an experience or they're confused about something, but they're not getting the validation from the parent. So I love that you're in conversation about this, and it's normal to be talking about spirit and spirit guides and not just say a religion or a dogma, but to really be looking outside that into the energy that's available all the time to all of us and how much we can connect to that in easy, sweet, supportive ways.
I know. Yeah. We talk about it so much at my house that sometimes my girls roll their eyes. They're like, Mom, spirit guides again? Like, why is everything about spirit guides?
So, Laura, for you, having been through this journey and having such a strong connection with spirit guides and the ability to connect with other people's spirit guides, how has this deepened your own soul journey in this lifetime?
It's really helped me to sort of look beyond the physical and the material, and to understand that others are on their own journey as well. And it's really cool to, connect with somebody. For instance, like with you, Tessa, this is the first time that we have really had a conversation, but I know that because we've connected again in this life, that means that we've had connections in past life. And so it gets me thinking about those sorts of things as well. Like how does my soul know this person's soul beyond this current life? And I think it just kind of opens it up so much. And a lot of what has helped too is Dr. Michael Newton's books, Journey of Souls and Destiny of Souls.
Oh, yes.
I mean, if you haven't read it yet, life-changing to any of your listeners, life-changing, because that's just really an eye-opener as well. And I think it just really puts things into perspective when dealing with other people, dealing with animals. We've had two beloved labs passed in the last few years, and though their physical loss is really hard and something that I even am still overcoming to this day, knowing that they're there in spirit has, I think, helped a lot with that acceptance of their crossing over and knowing that they're together. So having that idea that it doesn't just end here, or that dogs or animals don't go to heaven, or whatever the case may be, I know that they're there on the other side because they still visit me in my dreams as well. So, it's just really, I think my perspective, it's just really shifted things in a way where things don't feel so finite and simple. Really, our purpose is here on this earth is really just to show kindness and love for each other, to as much as to the degree that people want to, and then to just, do good and then go home. I think that's what Sylvia Brown says.
Yes, and again, I'm going to mention Dr. Michael Newton's book, Journey of Souls, and there are others, but I remember reading that, and it was a game changer for me. And I'd been studying non-ordinary reality and going into trance and visiting those places, but it helped to ground kind of the greater paradigm of it. And I think ever since then, my comfort level with just life in general has gotten easier, and I'm not as rattled by, the challenges that show up, like especially physical injury for me would be one of those big ones.
Sure. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. I could be checking out now. I don't know. We'll see. It's all okay though, because I'm still going to keep on going.
Exactly. And it's a smooth transition from this life to the other side. I think that it's helped me to be a little less fearful of death, because I have experienced past lives through hypnosis. I actually did a Life Between Lives session with somebody who studied in the Michael Newton Institute and his method. And when I was being killed in that past life before entering the Life Between Lives, I was outside of my body watching more objectively. And so that was comforting to know that I wasn't suffering. Like I was like, I'm out of here. I already left.
Sure. Yes.
So that helped too, in the sense that, okay, death really isn't something to be scared of, as far as, like having to suffer and feel that it may just be like a pretty quick transition.
Fantastic. All right, so Laura, as we're bringing this to a close today, first of all, I just want to say it's been really delightful to just dive into this topic and
Oh,
have
thank
some
you.
fun with it. Yeah, and get to know you some more. If you have a message for our listeners today or a piece of guidance, what would that be?
That everybody is surrounded by so much love and guidance from their own soul teams. And again, that includes spirit guides, ascended masters, angels, ancestors, etc. So everybody is loved, everybody is guided, and they are there, ready and willing and able to help each and every one of us. We just have to ask.
I love it. Yes, let's ask more frequently. All right, I want to make sure that everybody knows how they can get in contact with you. Could you go ahead and share how they can connect?
Yes, absolutely. The best way, because I have everything all together, is on my link tree. So it's the link tree and it's under Guided West.
Super simple. Not north, not east, not south. It's west. Why
Just
west,
like my last
Laura? Because it's your name. Yes.
Yep. My guides helped me come up with that one too. It's my email address, everything.
It's fantastic. Oh, so simple. All right. So go to Laura's link tree. We'll have that in the show notes, and you have a gift for them as well.
That I do.
Go ahead and tell them about it.
Yeah, so that gift, I mentioned it briefly earlier, but it's just a guide to help you as a listener to try some different methods to connect with your own spirit guides. And these are methods that have worked for me, so I am sharing those.
Yes, and I think you're going to really like Laura's methods. She does what she can to keep things simple, so you're not doing like some 5-hour ceremony with your eyes closed and, have to have a drum ceremony before and after. Yeah. So really just like effective, efficient, rocking it out. So thank you so much for being here today and sharing your joy, your enthusiasm for connecting with those beautiful beings who are all around us when we want them. They're not like spying on you. You can call them in when you want, and also just receive love. Laura, I really want to thank you for being here and reminding everyone of that. Like, they are lovable and they can receive love right now from their own guides. Isn't that cool? So thank you for being here today on Say Yes to Your Soul.
Thank you so much for having me. I've had so much fun. Thank you.
Yay, you're welcome. All righty. Bye-bye for now, everyone, and have a most blessed rest of your day.
All right. Thank you for joining us for this week's delicious episode. Before you jump off, I wanted to remind you to get entered in the raffle this month because I'm giving away more than $2,000 worth of prizes in both private sessions and actual cash. What are those prizes, you ask? Well, one of them is a private 75-minute soul light healing session with me. And that can be healing on various levels. It might be releasing trauma or tuning up your body or your emotions or clearing things like past lives and karma that's been, energetic debris holding you back. This session can be very helpful and sometimes have dramatic results in relationships, money, and in your health. And we're going to do that together on Zoom, so it doesn't matter where you live. The second prize is a 60-minute coaching session with me, and that's also going to be on Zoom. So if you want support or clarity for your goals, like help with getting started with a project or just creating an action plan, that is going to be an amazing session. You'll be surprised at how much you come away with. The third prize is a personalized meditation that I will design especially for you. And of course, it's going to be yours to keep. So it's going to be fully personalized in terms of the content, and I will be speaking just to you so that you will be able to resonate with it and receive the maximum benefits that you want to create. Okay, now for the fun stuff, the cash. I have several cash prizes in various amounts. I've got several $50 prizes, $75 prizes, and $100 prizes. So you can see there are many opportunities to win here, and I just want to encourage you to be sure to play because you do need to play to win. All monetary prizes will be delivered through PayPal or Wise, and if you have a different currency, it'll be automatically converted for you. So as long as you have access to an Apple device, you can play. And all the instructions are available on our website at sayyesToYourSoulPodcast.com. That's sayyesToYourSoulPodcast.com. And if you need any support in completing your raffle entry, my team is ready to help you with that. You'll find their email on our webpage as well. So that's it. All the best to you, and may you say yes to your soul.